Okay, so a PvP of epically shenanigans proportions, I'm sure, lays ahead of us. But one of my favorite players, good friend, and he uses my portrait. He might be the only person in literally all the BattleNet to use my portrait. It is my buddy PartinG. My boy! But I gotta root against him. And I gotta cheer for this guy, because to the top right, he's one of the best Protoss players in Korea. He is Trap. Mr. Torrential, great timing. Thank you for the 41-month resub. Just, hey, Riff. Hey, right back at you, man. Thanks for hanging out with me for 41 months, you big dumb goof. Get some revenge, big boy. Oh, did they play a series recently where PartinG lost? There's a funny story about this, too. I think it was Trap. I'm going to be very embarrassed if I'm misremembering this, but during the IEM qualifiers, Trap, I believe it was, ended up going like flawless, not dropping a single map to any player in that qualifier bracket, but he lost to PartinG twice. So just like to be clear, I don't know what the history of these two is of more recent games, but in my experience, PartinG has had the upper hand over Trap, creating the weird underdog scenario. Like the one time Trap would be considered an underdog, I suppose. But no weird pylon shenanigans to start. This is very important because a lot of the times in these best of threes, there is a little bit of outside the game framework where if you want to set up for a proxy in game 2, sometimes you'll just fake it in game 1, put them on edge, and then play those mind games. And that's kind of what I was talking about with PartinG earlier. That's very much his thing to do. But nobody plays that weird pylon out, even if not for the sake of proxy. Sometimes you just put your other pylons in weird locations and hope that your opponent doesn't scout them. Because with Protoss, you play kind of similarly versus Zerg. You know they're going to scout you, right? This is with a probe, there with an overlord. But the point is, you know they're going to see your base. You know you can't like hide a dark shrine. What we can do is put a second pylon over there and hope that PartinG thinks you've put one on the map. But PartinG now knows through this scout, there's no proxy in play yet that he would have to worry about. First two pylons are very important because they involve really hard supply blocks. Trap, in the meantime, also gets the similar scouting information, but they are following this up with very different unit combos. So it's 2 adepts out of Trap, which I don't hate this move or anything. Oh, that's going to block the probe in. Oh, what a dick move. Well, you know what? He stole 5 minerals. I don't think there's time to recall it. He could have if he had done it initially. They lose the probe. But the Stalker follow-up. So this is why it's interesting, because Stalkers do just straight up beat out adepts in a direct fight. If they meet up in the middle of the map, the Stalkers win the fight, no questions asked. So it's always weird to see adepts, but if they do manage to get past the Stalkers, which doesn't happen too often, but if they do manage to get past the Stalkers, then oh my god, he's in full retreat now, they can kill a lot of probes. So I think it's a bit of a gamble you take. They're not terrible for the defense or anything. You can pair those up with sentries, they'll hold off the Stalkers, but yeah, 1-to-1 in the fight, it would be very different otherwise. You see PartinG being very cautious with this too, not taking much more than shield damage, because if he commits to this, he does fear the force field locks him in. So funny little poke here at the front. Sentries get a bit low, but Trap knows that the shield battery is finishing up, so he's feeling very confident to stick out here. But the shield battery itself is under attack, and PartinG's very happy to poke away at this because Trap is not responding. But look, they're both taking expansions while this goes on. Nobody's all in yet. But we have different tech paths pretty largely, actually. We have Robo here being built now for Trap. Back at home for PartinG, he prioritized the Twilight Council, but he also put a Forge down, looking for weapon upgrades possibly in this game. If you invest into them too early, it could be a problem defending against somebody when you've just spent, 100 minerals, 100 gas. Essentially another stock or warping can feel a little bit bad sometimes. But you already knew Trap invested in a shield battery. His Nexus is a little bit later, a little bit delayed, but not by significant values, because he has been producing probes this whole time, and he actually transfers them down here very smoothly. So there's not really, I'm basically using a lot of words to say there's not much to talk about right now. But Trap does have a little bit of a spike there. That's going to even out now that PartinG base is mining. He wanted to scout the main base with the hallucinated Phoenix, but Trap's working pretty hard to deny that, actually. Gets it nonetheless. Sneaks up from the south side. Still not really that much to reveal, but sees the Robo. Would have been really sick if he could have seen the Warp Prism timing, but I think he's going to assume it was a Warp Prism. Oh, being updated by the chat. Apparently the last time they met was in this GSL Super Tournament. Round of 16, and Trap beat PartinG over there 3-2. Oh, very interesting. Thank you for the updates. That really does make this even spicier then, because it means the last 2 times I saw PartinG, he beat Trap, and he's played since then and lost. So that's created a back and forth dynamic. Pretty dope. Stalkers here are going to be out of position, regrettably, and there's not much you can do about that. He can run them away and try and keep them alive elsewhere on the map, and that could create a weird wild goose chase, but the force fields lock the Adepts in. They're going for the kills on the sentries, and the shield battery's doing a really good job keeping them alive. Fort Prism sneaks up forward to save those. Looks like the Stalkers did regrettably die. Let's see what happened with those. Oh no, he recalled them. He recalled them. He's a genius. I just realized recalls on cooldown. Nice. I didn't even catch that. Probably the corner of my eye type thing, but whatever. Force fields here are still going to be a problem for both sides, trying to cut each other off and just fight minimal amounts of units. There's no energy left for the shield battery over there. Warp Prism scoops up units that are getting a little too close to death on the front lines. No way to deal with the Warp Prism right now. No way to compete against this. I mean, an Immortal reaches the front lines too. This is getting worse for PartinG as time goes on. His next fight's just going to look worse than any other. Remember, these shield batteries are totally dry. Although new ones do finish up at the back. I take that back. There's a little bit of a fight still to be had. Possibly. No. I'm gonna work around this. Now look, as far as weapon upgrades go, I've been casting a lot of PvPs. Harsum, Drogo, Europeans all over the place. Whenever I've seen the +1 weapons upgrade, or more importantly, it's usually +2 by the end of the game, I've never really seen this be that big of an impact. I always feel like army units are just better to have more of. You know, having more Immortals is going to be to having +2 weapons in most cases, but realistically here for PartinG, at least he's got some tech going behind this for him. He's not falling behind, like just desperately clinging to life. So he continues to advance his weapon upgrades. He's getting charged. Charge is going to be huge. He already has blink. He's got to be very cautious here. Snipes off a sentry. Tries to. Nice pickup response on a trap. That is some like microsecond timing he had to hit there, because of course he was caught off guard. Oh my god, PartinG. Don't get outclassed this badly, dude. Holy cow. Continue to blink away with the Stalkers, desperately trying to run back home. There's no blink to pursue him. Resonating Glaives will be very interesting. Resonating Glaives versus Adepts, or with the Adepts, is going to be pretty good versus the Zealots, generally speaking here. But, I mean, if the Zealots don't die quick enough, then they still soak a lot of the shots. PartinG Stalkers will walk up. This will be the main bulk of his army, and that's where the +2 weapons becomes very, very useful. +1, like I said, I don't really notice it being that big of a deal for fights, but +2 is where it starts to sound a bit better, but still has had lackluster, I think, results for what I've seen. No counterattack potential, no Adepts, no DTs, no Warp Prism, no nothing. PartinG is so bare bones here for the fight. He's, oh god, hopefully he's gonna chrono out that Zealot charge if he needs it. No, that'll finish up in 9 seconds. So many shield batteries being placed down. He's expecting to be pushed back into the corner. He's canceled the attempt at the third base. I mean, he didn't need it, actually. That was just a risky gamble to get ahead in the game, but Archons coming in. Archons to break the force fields. Oh my god, this is going to be so freaking valuable. But the charge lots hit the front lines, and the Adepts just meet them with a lot of attacks. Resonating Glaives shooting very fast here, but the Stalkers are protected by so many shield batteries. I can't say this is looking like enough. +2 weapons is so far from finishing before the fight, and PartinG's shield batteries have all been exhausted. Stalkers have been blinked out to the back as much as they can. 4 Immortals is going to be way too much to deal with. He needs to get those Zealots in there, but when the Zealots get in there, the Adepts shoot them down immediately. Stalkers greater than Adepts, but Adepts greater than Zealots, and Zealots are going to beat those Immortals. There's a weird game of rock, paper, scissors, Immortal Zealot going on right now. PartinG is losing that battle. Down to 10 army supply. No money really left to warp pin with. Everything's on cooldown anyways. Oh my god, so many gateways. He's trying to chrono out +2, but what's there even left to benefit from +2 at this point? Nothing. Nada. Trap has absolutely taken control of game 1. I love the cannons on the side, but like, PartinG had like 1 cannon here that was going ham. That actually did a ton of damage, but yeah, the Desperate Probe pull, the last Archon, that's gonna be all she wrote for the big boy. He's trying. He wow. The PartinG is, as Roddy would say, super dead. GG. Trap takes game 1 of the series. It's map number 2. Welcome back. Spawning here to the bottom right, we once again have the red Protoss PartinG. And at the top left, up 1-0, it's the blue Protoss Trap. Anyways, looks like we did kill and slaughter a lot. Congratulations to Enthrall. Most kills by a large margin, I must say. But let's move on to the next map and get things cooking. Of course, I'm trying to get through this quickly because with Starcraft going on, especially PvP, we got to keep an eye out for these guys getting a little bit silly. But looks like nobody is sending probes out around the map, and nobody is playing too ridiculous, and I have no problems with any of that. But I expected PartinG to play a lot different than he has, I guess, in the series. And I'm not disappointed. I'm just, I was expecting something else. Good plays though. I mean, like, He lost that game, but if we can just talk about how sick that defense was, how improbable it seemed that he would hold that, like, kudos, PartinG. Now we do have some probes heading around the field. I mean, typical proxy locations are down here in the bottom left, but they're going to see each other. I think they're just checking for proxies too. I don't think either of them was setting up for it. A little bit of a kiss, a little bit of a kith. PartinG wins this fight actually if trap continues. It's all about who shot first. We all know it was Han, right? We all agree? Do we have any Greedos in the chat? Piss off. How do I join the Stream Raiders game? You go to streamcaptain.com and you just search for base trade TV. Then you place units down on the field. You are the army units. You can place an army unit down every 5 minutes or so. The more battles you play and the better you perform in the battles, the more rewards you get. And that's how you progress. And it's a very fun little stream game and I like it a lot. So I know it's not for everybody, and I'm sure there's a couple people watching wishing I wouldn't flash it on the screen like, Refkin, what the fuck are you doing right now? I'm trying to watch some Starcraft. But honestly, this game has become so synonymous with everything we've done. I really like Stream Raiders. It's very fun. So it's a part of the stream now. It's no longer just like a thing we're doing, hoping people like it. We know people like it. Stream Raiders is what it is. I'll try not to be too obnoxious with it. But anyways, that's how you can get in. Shield battery was put down at the front. This was kind of awkward because it was very, very, very close to completing. PartinG did not want that to actually complete because PartinG definitely wanted to take a Nexus. Now, a bit of a switch up here. Of course, it was PartinG who went for Stalker's last game and Trap who went for the Adepts. Now it's the other way around. Trap will see the Adepts, but they're a bit of a red herring as he doesn't actually transfer them through. He knows that he would die if he did. The Immortal's being chrono boosted out very quickly. This is actually a little shocking, a little surprising. He's very far ahead on getting this in play, but it is at the consequence of having his Nexus later. Here's the question, is he still planning to expand? If PartinG wants to one base this, one thing he could do is take these units with that Immortal, go get a little bit of a fight here in the middle, cancel/kill the natural, soft contain, and then expand much later. Or, okay, he can just take it now. Yeah, the Immortal's gonna make this a very easy win. Trap can't commit to this. He knows it. But he also didn't get in to see if PartinG had taken the natural yet or not. And that does make this a little bit awkward. He's playing with the assumption that I think PartinG's expanding and that PartinG isn't doing one base all in. Because, of course, the timing for that would be hitting right around now anyways. So he's playing pretty confident back at home, and I don't think Trap's too worried about this. It would be nice to confirm what the tech path looks like from PartinG, though. However, having seen the Immortal tells him plenty already. Hard Revenges. Okay, I'm here. What's up, dude? Hope you're having a good night. Taking that excuse there to drink some water, and then I went down the wrong pipe. So that's great. Okay, one sec. There you go. One big cough to get out of my system, and now all my neighbors probably think I have corona. All right. With the Adepts poised and ready to strike, they might be able to pick off some units at the natural base, but PartinG's kind of ready to commit to this. And I don't know that this is going to fall into all-in territory, but with the Warp Prism, I think he wants to sneak some units here. Oh, I thought he was going to go for the elevator move. He might just be going straight up for the front fight. Oh, try to get the sentry down to block off the ramp. Oh, this is actually be so sick if he pull it off. This might catch 3 of the sentries. Shield battery keeps him alive. Warp Prism picks this up, but now he's great. He's taking control position on the ramp. He is at a disadvantage of shield battery versus no shield battery, but that's already run out of juice, so no more shield battery. Stalkers 2 of the Immortals just walk away from the left side, picks up, scoops it up, puts it right back into the fight. Warp Prism micro for both sides, going to be very important in this battle. Those Immortals are going to decide who wins and loses the fight. I think, regrettably, PartinG is going to lose this fight, but he is the one doing damage. Remember, those probes are still forfeit if he's not careful. Warp Prism micro drip, dragging and dropping these Immortals all over the place, trying to get the shots. He can't breathe. Sorry to mute my mic. That got so exciting, and I hadn't recovered from the water I drank earlier. This Immortal seriously on its last life. The one shot from the other one is going to fall. Meanwhile, Adepts did get through to the other side of the map, but that's it for Trap. He taps out, and PartinG will take game 2. This is game number 3. Things have been tied up 1-1 all over the place. And for the final time in this series, let's give it up to the bottom left, the Red Protoss, the one and only PartinG. I could use a little bit of echo. Let's try this one. Top right, the Blue Protoss, the one and only
Trap.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Anyways, yeah, so we have a best of 5 grand finals. Winner of this game here on Eternal Empire will play against Cure for the grand finals tonight. There's $100 winner take all, 10 ESL points for the winner, 5 for the runner up. So it's a pretty big deal to win these ESL weekly cups. However, like I said, tomorrow I'll be live at 2 p.m. with the North America Cup. I don't want to put false promises for the European Cup. I always want to cast and I always just end up sleeping through it. So you can probably watch Wardy on that one, I would assume. Regardless, a lot of Starcraft going on this weekend. I hope you guys enjoy the heck out of it. Yeah, with gateways finishing up at the top of the ramp for both. Nobody's done anything too weird. Again, everyone just stays at home, and I'm a little sad about this. This is like still a good PvP, don't get me wrong, but this is not what I expected. I was hoping for a lot more cheese, and I was hoping for a lot more ridiculousness, frankly. But I suppose the distance of whatever's happened between these two from Super Tournament to the IEM qualifiers has changed this a bit for them. And at the same, I like the respectful play. I like that they're keeping it pretty close to the vest. Nobody's doing proxy gateways trying to end the game in 3 minutes, but at the same time, I wish they would. All right, some zippy zaps here. Oh, actually, you know what? I completely forgot about this, but there was about 3 or 4 ESL Cups ago, I cast a series of Trap versus Scarlet. That was recently uploaded to YouTube, is the reason I'm thinking about it now. It was such a good game. Like, that had such sick micro. Sorry, I was going to talk about this earlier when I talked about YouTube, but I was just going to say, Will got that up there. It looks fantastic. You guys got to check it out. If you missed it, Trap versus Scarlet might be the sickest display of ZVP I've seen in a long time. But tonight has certainly helped match that quite a bit. Yelzing earlier had a really great series. Obviously, watching players like Trap and others are very fun too. So big names, small names, lots of good Starcraft. Man, I kind of get scared sometimes. I'm gonna get bored of this game. You know, doing this for like 8 years, it's always the same stuff. No, not at all. These guys continue to find a way to impress every time we cast them. It's always a lot of fun for me. Hey, Bay Straight TV, aren't you tired? It's so late. Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. rolling up here. Of course I'm tired, but we're gonna get through the cast and have a good time, and then find the opportunity to sleep 7 hours later after rolling around in bed all night, trying to sleep but not successfully sleeping. H3 TV is my Sunday morning cartoons, isn't it? Wait, no, it's Saturday morning cartoons. What is Sunday? You gotta go to church, young man. How dare you, heathen? Quit eating your cereals. Put your best Sunday best on. Something. The Phoenix can wrap around. Not a lot for it to really see, which is good and bad at the same time. His own hallucinated Phoenix is across the field. Also gonna scout, but also not a lot to really reveal. I guess the tech path is gonna be kind of nice, but I mean, it's Robo versus Twilight Council for the priority. They both have forges coming up, which I think is funny because talk about how not dynamic I feel upgrades are in this. Also, oh shoot, my mouse just died. 1 sec, I gotta plug this in. Great timing. Okay, there we go. Hey, 47S, my favorite artist. How are you doing, man? Thank you for the 49-month resub. That's such a bad emote of mine. Please don't use it. But good vibes right back at you, man. Is there no 1080p? Yeah, hey guys, look, I'm really sad we got to keep talking about this. Whatever's going on with Twitch tonight. For some reason, you guys in the broadcast live are only seeing 720, but if you check the VOD like of this exact broadcast, you can see it's recording in 1080. So I don't know why there's a limit being put on by Twitch. I haven't heard anything about this. I haven't seen any other streamers talking about this. This is literally the first time I'm experiencing it, so I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, I apologize, I guess, and just hope you can enjoy the blurry 720 BS in front of you right now. Oh, the hallucination grazes through the main, gets a full scout on this actually. Even sees the Twilight Council a little delayed. That should be some interesting confidence. That might trigger PartinG to feel good enough to push with something because he knows he's going to have blink when his opponent does not. And even if that's not a committed all in, just having 4 stalkers is enough to threaten workers. You blink up to the high ground, for example, and just pick off units in the main. But PartinG is looking like he's securing a third. I was just taking a very awkward wide split to go for the attack. Okay, well, maybe this is just clued in for him now that he's realized what the scout was. His blink is done in literally seconds. And that's going to give the stalkers a lot of fighting power. But he is going to need something. Is he going to hallucinate and just go? I think he's just going to hallucinate and blink to the main. I think that's his game plan here. You actually see, oh, look at this. Trap's so good. Trap is expecting something specifically like this. So his hallucination gets caught, but he sees the army coming, and now he should be able to position himself a little bit better. Worst case scenario is here, he gets caught on the wrong side. And I think the goal for PartinG kind of is you blink up to the high ground, get trapped to respond, and then you force field the ramp and kill the natural. Two adepts tried to get through on the other side of the field, but this has been nicely denied and blocked. Shield battery went down very appropriately. It's one of the few things that will block that transfer. If you're trying to indoctrinate us to this religion, I'm not religious at all, dude. I follow the religion of sarcasm, I think. Sarcasm and reality TV drama. What are ESL points? ESL points are the global point system. So when you win like a big offline event, you know, you're going to get a butt ton of points. Think of it what WCS points were before. WCS is no longer a thing, and ESL has replaced it for the next 3 years in its entirety. So if you understood the WCS point system, it's very much the same thing. They're just now ESL points and distributed a little differently. For example, WCS never had a weekly cup. I always wish they did. I had always pitched this to them many times, but a weekly cup that awarded WCS points would have been really cool. They never latched on to the idea, and they never wanted to work with any of the creators for it, which feels a little bit bad, man. But anyways, point is, ESL is doing just that, and I love it. 10 points isn't a lot. I do wish there was actually a little bit more. I wish there was a little bit more value to the weekend cups, but I mean, something's better than nothing. Plus, it's $100 straight up. So there you go. Hopefully that explains it a bit better. PartinG's also forced to use 720 on his stream tonight. Yeah. I'm imagining there's some kind of bandwidth thing. Rather than having the site shut down, they're just forcing limitations. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the amount of data you save 720 to 1080 is huge. Again, sorry guys, but I don't want to keep talking about this. It's super annoying. There's nothing we can do about it, right? So it is what it is. PSA, it's 720. Deal with that. But 720, 420, whatever number is your choice. So this is not a good fight to take, and PartinG's going to realize that. So he's just poking with the stalkers. You know, maybe grab a zealot and blink away. Unfortunately, though, with the immortals out, that's not really an option. So as he continues to kind of kite back home, he does have to get his army in position, and his army is not that great, all things considered. Zealots are going to be, Zealots and Archons specifically are really good against the immortals. But with 3 of his own Archons, Trap's going to have a means to deal with PartinG's massive Zealot count, whereas PartinG doesn't have a really good way to chew through this other than numbers, which he doesn't really have going for him. He does have +2 weapons, but in about 10 seconds, so will Trap. So all of these Zealots that go up against the Archon should die. I love the hallucination. Oh, that was a good move. It soaked up almost every single charge from the Zealot, and they were also obviously out of position for a real unit. A very clutch play out of Trap. I'm telling you guys, Protoss hasn't even hit its peak. Once players start learning how to use hallucinations that are full effect, I think this game gets so sick. Not this game, but Starcraft 2. But Trap does have an observer. He sees the Archons. Here's where this gets awkward, though. If you see a hallucinated unit you A move, your units will willingly choose to ignore it, which means you can create this awkward wall on the front lines that they will just slam into indefinitely rather than kill and go through. There's a small chance that could work out here in the favor of PartinG, but because he needs his own Zealots to connect, unlikely for that to be a good thing. Fun little fact, by the way. Maybe this is Rifkin's 99% useless facts, but sentries, when hallucinating, as you may know, create 1 hallucinating unit. However, there are 2 exceptions to this. When they hallucinate Zealots, it creates 2 Zealots, and when they hallucinate probes, it creates 4 probes. You cannot mine with these probes, obviously, or do anything with them, but it is just like that frontline body. So when Archon kind of works in this situation, I wouldn't even mind faking out. Like, can you imagine if he, just with 4 sentries, hallucinated 8 additional Zealots? His army would look so much bigger than it actually was. It could soak shots at the front lines. I don't know. I'm not saying this is what people need to do, but this is what I'm saying, where I think, like, the best player who ever lived, whenever that person arises, is going to be the guy who can utilize hallucinations in all matchups. Charizard Archon, by the way, is the composition that does get trounced on by disruptors. So what we see out of PartinG is the Robobay. It's good. You could justify Colossus, but I think more often than not, this is going to be disruptor play. Because Archons are too slow and too big. It's really hard to avoid their shots. It does take 2 shots from disrupting to kill an Archon, but the point still is they're pretty much guaranteed to hit. The Zealots can split, and the Zealots can be picked up in a Warp Prism in a pinch, but Yeah, anyways, look, Disruptor is going to be a very definitive factor for this game, and the fact that PartinG's getting them so much sooner than Trap has me a little worried for Trap. They're both coming up on +3 weapons. Granted, this is very important for Trap because his Archons will mow through PartinG's Zealot count. National Zealots here are 29 to 27. Huge on both sides. Recall making every unit available brings the Warp Prism back with those 2 Archons. He's going to need all hands on deck for this. Now you see the Zealots positioned in the back out of Trap. This is not a mistake. He doesn't want these charging forward and getting soaked up by PartinG's Archons. Kind of similar to how PartinG's Zealots just handled the situation. But numbers matter. There's a defender's advantage to be certain. Disruptor finally comes into play. Fires its shot. Going for the Archons in the back. Look at that. Shield's pretty much gone. Archon's dead on arrival, but there's still so many units coming out of Trap. He's actually had a +3 weapon advantage through this whole fight. Didn't even realize that coming down to 1 second ago. PartinG gets his own +3 weapons after most of his Zealots have died. Stalker's warping in here desperately. Archon's coming around the bottom side. That probe line is starting to get compromised slowly by slowly. No force wants to keep these out. He's got to pull the probes away lest he lose them all. But I think he knows that if he loses this fight, it doesn't matter if the probes died or not. So the Nexus is going down. The probes are dying. PartinG is dying. The Disruptor shots, though, are starting to make this look defensible. But he comes out of this fight at a disadvantage economically. No question about it. 4th base is being taken from Trap, so he's extending his lead even further in that regard. But if these Disruptors survive, PartinG's going to have drops going off, but unlikely there with the Immortal sniping it off. This has been absolutely devastating to PartinG. His army supply on the whole is not significantly worse than Trap's, but he has no means to pressure this 4th base encounter. He has no minerals literally to warp in a new Nexus. This is just the worst case scenario for PartinG, frankly. Stealth Weeaboo, you might be talking about one of the greatest games of Starcraft all time. Hydra versus Huck, am I right? Good riddance. Thank you for the 33-month resub while all this craziness was going on. Much appreciated, dude. Thank you guys who keep coming back to resub. You're keeping me afloat in these trying times, so I appreciate it. Imagine leaving a game because of halluc. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Warp Prism is 2 Immortals. I think he's expecting there to be pylons and a new Nexus, but there's nothing. It's all in out of PartinG. This is a very last-ditch effort, and Trap finally has Disruptors. Something that was an advantage to PartinG before, now is an incredible disadvantage. The splits were good. PartinG's micro, top-notch, but yeah, even with all this micro, he's not gaining any ground. If this goes on forever, Trap just wins through money. So a lot of these Disruptors are on cooldown. Still though, they get the shots they need. PartinG falling apart. I hate to say it, but GG. PartinG loses to Trap, and Trap takes the 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals, where it's going to be Cure versus Trap.